Welcome to making your foldable. Make sure you have a copy of this, and this is the set of directions you need to do. So let's make this first. You're going to cut on the solid lines, and then you'll just fold over on the dotted lines. Then you can just glue this right into your notebook. I love these because you can go back and look in your notebook and you can test yourself without looking at all the answers. Go ahead and pause the video and make sure everything is cut and folded and put into your notebook, and then I'll return with you. So this is your first page. Now obviously mine is not folded, but at least you can see what it looks like. Let's make a few little notes to ourselves on this. The first angle set that we're learning about is the vertical angles, and those are opposite angles that are created when two lines intersect. If you notice, they are equal to each other. So let's just make a little mark here to remind ourselves that they are equal to each other. Okay? 40 equals 40. Makes sense. Now, complementary angles mean they add up to 90 degrees. Whoops, I think I have this on the wrong thing. There we go. Okay, so the sum of the angles equal 90 degrees. This is how I like to remember this. If I draw a line by the C, it becomes a 90. Put a little degree sign there. Oh yeah, complementary means 90 degrees. So that means 65 plus 25 should add up to 90. Over here we have supplementary angles. Supplementary angles I remember because if I make the S into an 8 and put a 1 in front of it, and make the U into an O, it's 180 degrees. So that means these two angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. If you do not want to do this to your notes, that is totally fine. I'm just showing you one way to remember it. I'm going to scroll down to the next page. This is where the real work begins. Now that you have reviewed all of the things you know about angles, let's work with some algebra here. So this first problem that we have, it says find the value of x. I'm going to put this in red. That means we know that this angle here is congruent to this angle here. So we're going to use a little algebra. So up here at the top, and excuse my writing, it's hard to write with my mouse, we have x plus 30. 30 equals 55. We know this is true because opposite angles that are created with two intersecting lines make equal angles. So we're just going to solve one-step equation. We can do this, subtract 30 on each side. I'm going to draw my line underneath. A little messy. X equals, and 55 minus 30 is 25. Now let's go back and answer the question. We always do that. It says find the value of x. So we did do that, but let's just check it. That means if I substitute the value of 25 in for my expression, I should get 55. Well, let's check it out. All right, so I'm just substituting in. The value of x is 25, so I'm pressing that in for x. 25 plus 30 equals 55. Well, let's just check. Is that true? 25 plus 30 over here. We'll do it real quick. I think you know it is, but I'm just proving it to you. Math is all about proving it. Oh, look at that. It worked. So it checks. Beautiful. Let's try another one. I'll change the color here. This one says find the measure of the missing angle. We know that this is a 90-degree angle, so we know these two angles add up to 90 degrees. So we have 2x plus 20. The two angles together will have a sum of 90 degrees. And this is a simple two-step equation. Remember, in two-step equations, we take care of the like terms first. It might help you. Some of you like to do this if you kind of draw a line down. So you say, oh yes, I know I need to get x by itself. I have a 20 here and I have a 90 here. Those are two constants. So let's put the constants together first. Because I'm moving 20 to the other side of the equation, I have to do the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. And draw a line underneath. Now I'm left with two x's, so I'm going to bring those down. My 20s have canceled out, so those are gone. And on the other side of the equation, I have 90 minus 20. 90 minus 20 is 70. And if I divide both sides by 2, that means 1x should be 35. Oops. Go back and reread the question, and I might be moving fast. Don't forget, you can always pause this video to make sure you understand what I'm doing and to also catch up with your writing. So if x is equal to 35, that means 2x's plus 20 should give us 90. Well, if I have 2 of these 35s, that would give me 70. And 70 plus 20 is 90. Well, now it said find the measure of the missing angle. The missing angle here, we've already realized, is 70 degrees. Okay, that's a little degree sign. All right, let's try one more. This one gets a little trickier. It says find the measures of the missing angle. So we have 2 steps here for this, but we also have 2 variables. So let's write this all out. I know x plus 35 plus x minus 15. Now don't forget, this is a straight angle here. And in a straight angle, there are 180 degrees. So these 2 angles have a sum of 180 degrees. Okay, beautiful. Now, don't forget, we are looking for some like terms. We can't start solving here. We could, it just wouldn't be very efficient. I'm going to circle, I see an x here. I see an x here. That makes 2 x's, right? Then I see I have a positive 35. I just always like to make shapes out of the like terms. And a negative 15. Well, positive 35 and negative 15 gives me positive 20. Okay, so if you like to do this method where you say the x's and the no's, mathematically this just means we're trying to combine like terms. I had an x over here, I had another x, and then the values that don't have variables, those are constants. I have a 35 and I have a negative 15. I know some of you, it really helps to see it like this. This means I have a total of 2 x's and I have a positive 20. Okay, which is what we got up here. I'm just proving it to you. Remember what I said, math is all about proving your work, making sure it makes sense. Now, I need to subtract both sides by 20 because if you look at it, we have the same problem as we did before over here. But this time it adds up to 180 instead of 90. So we're going to solve in the same manner. I'll subtract 20 from this side, and I'll subtract 20 from this side. And I have 2 x's equal 60. 160, not 60, 160. If I divide both sides by 2, that means 1x has a value of 80. Okay, so did it ask for the value of x, or did it ask us to find missing angles? Oh, it said missing angles. So we are going to substitute 80 in right here for x and add 35 to it. And that's going to give us 115 degrees. Hopefully you can see all my writing here. Now on this angle, we are going to substitute 80 in again, but this time we're subtracting 15. And that should give us 65. Now to prove that these work, if I add 115 plus 65, oh, look at that. I get a total of 180 degrees. So we must have done it right. Excellent. Don't forget to fold this up if you haven't already. Make sure your work is all completely done and showing correctly. Glue it into your notebook. And if you need proof, send us a video.